It's December 17, 2015, and a man who's been cheating in Counter-Strike for over 10 years is typing a public apology on HLTV. As an apology, this post is terrible, but as a piece of unintentional comedy, it is fantastic. The comment section mocks it, Reddit mocks it, esports journalists mock it. But as sad as this apology is, there is something that is even sadder, and that is the guy that's typing it. His name is Fodder, and Fodder is someone who's wasted his entire life cheating in a video game. This video is the story of how this man would throw away his entire existence, all in the name of a delusion that even he probably didn't believe in. Let's get into things. Now, this video is sponsored by SkinsMonkey, the trading site where you can quickly and easily trade your skins. Just log in, add your trade link, and you are good to go. All you have to do is select the items you want and hit the trade button. There's over 150,000 items to choose from, and if you use my code Heyzeus, you can get up to $5 off your first trade. And even if you're not interested in trading, the site holds free, daily, weekly, and monthly giveaways that you can enter completely for free. It's a great site, check it out, link is in the description. We don't know much about Fodder's early life. He seems to have been born around 1992 and has spent most or all of his time in Florida. One way or another though, he got into CS early. According to Fodder himself, his reputation as a cheater started all the way back in 2004. This suggests that his first experiments with a really good headset started when he was only 12 years old. And while his motivations for doing so aren't clear, what is clear is that even as a kid, he was well known in the 1.6 scene for cheating his balls off. Fodder apparently also was not the best teammate or opponent and was rather infamous on the Gotfrag forums. According to Fodder himself, he was merely outspoken and immature, but according to other people, he really liked making old accounts to talk himself up. He was clearly an ambitious young lad though, and in 2006, he would commence a devious scheme to associate himself with Stacked Like Pizzas, a 1.6 lineup featuring US Counter-Strike legend Hiko. Now, there's two versions of this story. Fodder's version is that he made his own team called Stacked Like Pringles as a joke and was only kidding when he went around saying he was on SLP. Then there's everyone else's version, which is that he just outright claimed to be on the real team. According to one member of the SLP lineup, they even let him be a fifth in a pug one time, only for him to cheat his ass off. But Fodder didn't just want to be loved by Hiko, he also wanted the affection of the opposite gender. Unfortunately though, his method of trying to get it appears to have been to go into the DMs and act really creepy. Sadly, this was not particularly successful, and Fodder would be waiting many years before a girl returned his attention. But while he may have been failing on his love quest, Fodder was still determined to prove himself in the server, and in 2009, he would apparently attend a LAN event in Florida to prove he was the real deal. The highlights were quickly uploaded to YouTube. See, he can hit a couple of wallbangs, he must be legit. Although suspiciously absent was any actual evidence this was from a LAN, or that Fodder was even at a LAN in the first place. Fodder at least has a long list of people who apparently saw him, so I guess that proves it. Although, speaking of proof, it was right around this time that footage of him was uploaded blatantly balling in 1.6. Now, Fodder denies this is him and claims it was actually recorded by a troll. Honestly, this is believable. Recording yourself cheating like this would be extremely retarded even for Fodder, but this wouldn't save him from getting banned on CEVO and ESEA around the end of 1.6. The CEVO ban was only until 2016, but the ESEA ban was for 70 years, suggesting that whatever Fodder did, it was really fucking bad. However, this dead end in 1.6 would quickly open up into a fresh opportunity: Counter-Strike Global Offensive. This new version of CS would release in late 2012, and it was shit. Total and utter shit. But Fodder appears to have decided it was a chance to turn the leaf, and for a brief period, he appears to have experimented with something completely mind-blowing. Actually good CSGO content. None of it is viewable anymore, but you can tell from the responses that people liked it. And these weren't old accounts either, they were real guys. If Fodder was a normal guy, this would be where the story ends. He has grown up, he's found something productive, all's well that ends well. But obviously, since I'm making this video, that's not what happened. It's not quite clear what pulled Fodder back down the cheating rabbit hole. In fairness, he probably never entirely left. But the first signs of trouble appeared in March 2014 when he made a thread complaining that being banned on ESEA was making it hard for him to practice for an upcoming LAN in Tampa. Fodder being Fodder, he essentially lambasted the entire scene for being sheep because they wouldn't quit the platform, and the response wasn't necessarily that negative. There was some genuine sympathy for him, but regardless, Fodder never made the LAN, and from there on, his downward spiral began. Over the next couple of months, multiple threads began to show up accusing Fodder of cheating. Many of the commenters testified to negative experiences with Fodder in the server, and the comments on Reddit were becoming considerably more negative as well. That's not to say he had no defenders, he did, there were people speaking up for him, but oddly enough, these defenders all seemed to be brand new accounts with literally no other posting history. Well, that's kinda suspicious, and that wasn't the only suspicious thing going on with Fodder, because he was also having some issues with Overwatch. In fact, in July 2014, he would find himself slapped with multiple Overwatch bans. In response, he took to Reddit to decry this injustice, name-dropping Stacked like pancakes for some reason as an argument from authority or something, but the community was pretty skeptical. I think this Redditor really put it best in their response, and others quickly chimed in to second that notion. In response to this, Fodder appears to have decided to lean into his controversial reputation, uploading videos with titles like Fodder, Too Much for Overwatch, and How to Be a Human Trigger Bot, but it wasn't long after that a human was checking out Fodder's actual trigger bot again in Overwatch, and this got him yet another Overwatch ban. In response, Fodder posted a rant to Reddit, angrily demanding that he be permanently whitelisted on the Overwatch system, and also claiming he was literally the last person who has any reason to cheat, and the responses he got contained a few consistent themes, with words like pathetic, delusional, and delusional pathetic being pretty common reactions from the Reddit community. And something that definitely wasn't helping Fodder's case here was the fact that a player had uploaded footage of his gameplay to YouTube just 1 week earlier, also titled Fodder, Too Much for Overwatch. Now, given the backlash he was currently experiencing, to help clear his name, Fodder decided it would be a good idea to respond to it.
Somebody called that they're lower. My teammate's helping me to my right, as you can see. He just died. He called he's coming. Okay, guy coming up cat. I hear him running. I hear the second guy running. And I just shoot through the smoke because they're running in a straight line. Scaffold, checking window. He's there. I pre-fire that angle every single game. So I know that I legged him. I know there's a smoke there, so I go for a chance knife kill. I knife him, and then I die like an idiot because there was a guy waiting for me to push through the smoke.
And this video was a massive success at getting people to take the piss out of it.
So I'm just in Dust 2 here. You know, I'm coming into B. I probably think someone's on the left. I'm just gonna go for a quick chance knife. Yeah, I know, I probably legged him before.
So, you know, I'm taking London as, like I said, I like to aim at the ground as I run. And here I'm gonna take the chance peek out lawn. And I know there's gonna be I took a pre-fire, see?
Nothing down man ramp here, so pre-fire here, obviously. Yeah, always pre-fire that spot.
And my teammates called the guys at lawn, they're yelling at me to go lawn. So, you know, I'm gonna take a chance peek at lawn right here. And I already know that most likely he's gonna be outside pit, not in it. You know, because usually people play outside the pit.
Nothing mini, so I definitely feel like something's probably on the other side of this wall, so I'm just gonna go for a quick chance knife. Yeah, I call that the Fod.
And to make all of this even worse for him, just 7 days after he first responded, Fodder would get a back ban live on stream. Now, Fodder had a very convincing excuse.
Probably the guy that gave this account to me planned on doing this. I guess the guy cheated on this account before he gave it to me. And I guess he was planning on me getting back banned in midstream or something.
And yeah, I mean, who hasn't had that happen to them? Also, shout out to Fodder's newest follower up there. But in any case, despite getting at least 4 bans in a single year, Fodder was far from humbled. In December 2014, he was actually boasting on Reddit that he'd avoided getting caught in a recent vac wave, and in January 2015, he even made a video declaring that NA needed to take him to a major so he could destroy everyone. To be fair, with shots like this, I think Get Right is toast. He also made a Reddit thread using an alt account which was hilariously called An Honest Skeptic, speculating that maybe the reason Fodder got Overwatch banned was because the people doing the reviews somehow figured out it was him and banned him because they don't like him, as if random Overwatch users would have any idea who the fuck Fodder is. But not long after, Fodder would have an epiphany. One of his many Overwatch bans had recently turned into a VAC ban for some strange, unimaginable reason, and Fodder concluded that Valve must have done this manually to make their Overwatch ban system seem more legit, because there's no way they could have found cheats on him or anything. As a result, he decided to get his viewers to spam the CS devs to get his ban lifted, and stunningly, he actually got a response. A response that confirmed he was a cheating fucking bastard. Now, this brutal public humiliation appears to have finally triggered a shift in attitude from Fodder, and rather than trying to prove his innocence, he essentially began a quest for redemption. The first thing he tried doing was publicly offering to be the Ice Frog of CSGO, adding that he'd be able to greatly contribute to improving VAC. For anyone who's confused about what I mean by this, basically Fodder wanted to be the #1 guy in charge of Counter-Strike at Valve. Naturally, this was mocked to shit in the comments section. But a week later, he would be back with a second attempt at redemption, and this time he was about to do the unthinkable, because Fodder apologized. Okay, look, apology may actually be the wrong word here. Basically what he did was he made a very lengthy post on HLTV where he attempted to address his past misdeeds. I'll give you the short version. Basically, he starts off by claiming he got a 90-year ban on ESEA after getting into an argument with an admin about what constituted baiting. A totally believable excuse, and I'm sure he definitely wasn't using scripts to crash the servers or anything. Anyway, after boasting a bit about how good he was on EU servers at high ping, the post then proceeds to claim that the ESEA ban led him into a state of despair because he couldn't compete in tournaments. And in the darkness of his despair, he made the unfortunate mistake of using cheats to help make highlight videos more quickly on YouTube, but only a few of them. He's very clear that most of his highlight videos still aren't cheated, and that VAC ban definitely was manual. They totally didn't find cheats on his PC. So there you go, guys. He only started cheating super recently. It was only a little bit of cheating anyway, and it was all ESEA's fault for banning him in the first place. I hope that clears things up. Like usual, this was not a very well received apology. A lot of people pointed out it made no fucking sense for him to cheat if he could make the highlight videos without cheating anyway, but despite not really having silenced any of his critics at all, Fodder was looking to the future. The Brazilian lineup, LG, had apparently inspired him to never cheat again, even though he barely cheated in the first place, and with his SIVO ban due to expire, he began hyping up his return to competitive play. But this triumphant return was not to be, because when his ban finally expired in April, SIVO immediately replaced it with a new one, citing multiple pieces of cheating software as the reason. This news was met with jubilation by the community, but Fodder would protest his innocence, first by tweeting at SIVO that his cheats didn't even work anymore, and then by offering to get his coder in touch with them to confirm that he'd stopped cheating. This is a bit like telling airport security the bomb in your backpack doesn't even work before offering to get Al Qaeda in touch with them to prove you're not a terrorist anymore, and shockingly, SIVO was unmoved, and to judge by the replies, Fodder proceeded to have a complete meltdown. However, amidst the darkness of his SIVO ban being extended, there was one ray of sunshine, because for once, a beautiful woman was actually responding positively to his Skype messages. Now, unfortunately, this lovely lady couldn't get her webcam or mic to work, but she was very insistent that he crank one out on webcam for her, and ever the Lothario, Fodder obliged. And that proved to be a bit of a mistake, because not only was this lady actually a man, but this man happened to be a member of a trolling group called Team Gamerfood. Now, there's not many traces of this group left on the internet, but based on what's out there, it seems like they really enjoyed making people's lives miserable, and that is certainly what they did to Fodder.
Yeah, there's a website out there, and again, nobody should have to go through this, it's disgusting, but there is a website out there where basically if you go to this address, it's him jerking off.
Luckily for everyone, this site is not around anymore, but apparently the video was literally titled, "I go for the chance fap." So well done, Fodder, you really did invent a meme there. Now, perhaps out of mercy, Twitch would ban him around this time, and when Fodder's brother, inverted commas, made a Twitch account as well, they banned that too. Fodder's response was to pretend that he was suing Twitch on Twitter. And watch out, Amazon, this bloke is bringing a chance lawsuit. But despite these setbacks and humiliations and having his cock on display to the entire internet, Fodder was still determined to find redemption. And in July 2016, it seemed like a path opened up to him when Don Hartgy created the infamous That Sucks subreddit. Now, this subreddit was created amidst a climate of widespread cheating allegations against CS pros, and it appears that Fodder came to the conclusion that this was the battle he was born to fight. His first foray into the space occurred when he publicised leaked DMs allegedly showing Guardian, the star AWPer of Na'Vi at the time, supposedly offering a Bitcoin payment as hush money so someone wouldn't expose him for cheating. The whole thing was so retarded and obviously fake that even the brainlets on That Sucks weren't buying it, but by September 2016, Fodder had found himself an even juicier target: Subroza. Now, these days, Subroza is a genuine Valorant champion, but back in 2016, he was a shady tier 2 NACS player who found himself under a whole lot of scrutiny after he was accused of cheating at a LAN. Not cheating enough to stop his team from getting their shit pushed in, but still cheating. And Subroza was a bit different to other alleged cheaters for a few reasons, like the fact Subroza had an account on a cheating forum, or the fact that Subroza uploaded this. And into this mess jumped Fodder, who was given access to Subroza's Skype by an account called Subexpose. Fodder then went and made a video about it, a video that proved absolutely nothing because the Skype didn't have any evidence in it, but it did manage to get a reaction from Subroza on Twitter, which I guess Fodder took as vindication. Now, many people were skeptical that Subexpose was even a real person. A lot of them suspected it was just an alt of Fodder's because why the fuck would anyone go to Fodder to expose a cheater? But not long afterwards, Subexpose would actually call Richard Lewis while impersonating Subroza, and while Richard saw right through the act, it did at least confirm it was a different person. Although it wasn't exactly vindication for Fodder either, because Subexpose proceeded to admit that for the most part, he was just a troll who was actively fucking with Fodder. Those Guardian DMs, for example, Subexpose apparently faked those who tricked Fodder into publishing a false story. Although none of this was enough to put a dent in Fodder's delusions, and in December 2016, he would make one of his most ludicrous posts yet, and that is saying quite a lot. I can't say too much, guys, but I understand your concerns, your anger, and your loss of faith in CSGO, and perhaps the entire esports industry. I can't get into specifics, but I'll just say, progress is being made as of now with the cheating situation as a whole. It is a grueling process, but I'm doing my best to move it along. Give the truth time and support. It will make its way to the forefront. Thank you. But despite claiming to be changing the world, in reality, Fodder was on the verge of quitting. In fact, he was already dipping his toes into a new game with an even more degenerate community: Overwatch. And by 2017, his exit from CSGO was all but complete. So, how did Fodder fare in a game best known for its Rule 34 output?
Being black does not give you an excuse to be racist, which is what you're currently being by siding against me.
Wait, I didn't side against anyone. I was just asking a question.
Yeah, so there's the answer to your question. If you are against me, you are with racism.
Now, this video is called the worst cheater in Counter-Strike, not the biggest lol count in Overwatch, but from what I can tell, things did not get better for Fodder after he quit. Instead, he became something of a regular on a drama subreddit called Overwatch TMZ, and not a regular is in a regular poster. A regular is in a regular person for everyone to laugh at. Taking a brief look, he appears to have constantly stream sniped Tim the Tap Man, got into a whole bunch of fights with other content creators, accused people of being pedophiles because they beat him in a match, threatened to swat a 16-year-old girl, and would accuse people of being racist and sexist if they complained about him throwing. Or to put it simply, he seems to have been in a constant meltdown mode and was saying insane things on a daily basis. Also, people keep talking about him eating his own jizz. I don't know if that's from the Teen Gamer Food video or something else, but either way, I'm not going to try and find out. Anyway, this all culminated in Fodder publicly quitting in 2021 with a post that really makes you think, holy shit, this bloke has no idea what a fucking paragraph is. I'll give you guys a choice sample from this wall of text. I'm not Hitler. I don't have the blood of millions of people on my hands. I don't deserve to be treated like someone who has committed one of the largest mass genocides in existence. And as much of a blight as Hitler was on humanity, even he had friends. I feel like I don't. Yep. totally normal thing to say there. Anyway, with that, Fodder privated his Twitter and his YouTube and moved on with his life, to the complete delight of the Overwatch community. And when I say moved on, what I mean is that he just made a new account called Aimbot where he continues to do weird shit, like adding e-girls and claiming to be a former CS pro and game developer, or going on some kind of crusade over the Overwatch report system. But rather than go any further down this increasingly insane rabbit hole, I just want to ask the question: how the fuck is this story real? Fodder has spent 20 years in constant misery chasing this delusion. Why would you do this to yourself? You're probably wondering why his family hasn't intervened. The only detail I could really find here is that apparently he moved out to his grandparents when his relationship with his parents broke down. So clearly there was some support, but not the help he needed. And from what I can tell, it seems like Fodder was pretty hostile to anybody else who tried to help him either. So what gives? Well, perhaps the question about why kind of misses the forest for the trees. Plenty of people throw their lives away because they don't want to let go of some morsel of e-fame, even though flipping burgers at McDonald's would be a genuinely more fulfilling existence. Sadly, that is not unusual. What's actually unusual about Fodder is that the guy spent 20 years being an asshole. He treated other people like shit, day after day, year after year. And if that's how you act in life, people are going to treat you like shit as well, and your life is going to suck. And when you choose to behave like that, you are the one that has to live with the consequences. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. If you've enjoyed it, please like, comment, and subscribe. Otherwise, trust the numbers, not your guts. I'm Heyzeus. Thanks for watching. See ya.